is falling down. Ain't nobody here to play around. Push it to the edge, I won't back down. Cause it's time to go hard or go home. One way up, no way out. I give it all for the family. We stay up, no bailouts. Give it all for the family. Family, family, family.
Welcome. Hey guys, so Cody and I did the 5A, 6A, and the open preview. And the reason we didn't do the 4A in there is because I wanted to spotlight just a little bit of, not to take anything away from one of the games, but, we've been talking some time about this Casa Grande Cactus matchup, how everybody's been waiting for it. Everybody wants to see it. Honestly, this is, this should determine, I know it sounds crazy, but I mean, these are the two best teams in 4A. And in my opinion, this will determine who wins, who's putting on a ring and who's not. I've got coaches that just came into town that are going to be coming there with me tonight. It's going to be a great game. I will be there. I will be covering that game. Had great conversations with both coaches. I'm actually going to try to get both coaches on today, but we'll see how it works out. I mean, it's game day. Literally, we're filming this game day morning because they've been so busy in practice getting ready for this one. You have to, as a media guy, quote unquote, you have to really be careful about the time that you utilize on them, on coaches on certain days. I mean, so I'm grateful. Two guys that I think the absolute world of. I'm grateful that they're even going to try to come on this show. There's Coach texting me now. So I want to look at Casa Grande first. So Cody and I have said this. Everybody knows. I mean, it all starts and stops with their guy behind center in Angel Flores. Angel Flores is arguably, and I know I could open up a bag of worms, and we all know that I'm really good at that. Angel Flores can literally be considered not only the best two-way dual threat quarterback in the state, but arguably a top 5 in the country. I think the level of respect he's getting from the college coaching community in offers and just recognition is a borderline joke. I think coaches should be ashamed of themselves for not coming after this kid. I mean, this is a young man who, there's no question about it. Like, I've sat down with Mike Giovando and we've had this conversation. And I'm not going to quote unquote Gio and put him in that spot, but he thinks he's pretty good. Well, we'll leave it at that. He's up there with the guys that he's coached. Way up there. Coach Barro and I aggressively working the scene. We know Louisville likes him. We know Rice likes him. I mean, let's go. Like, what's the problem? And you guys don't know me very well. When I get on the phone with my coaches, it's not like, oh, okay, well, can you please check out this? No, I tell them, you're effing nuts if you don't go after this kid. Like, he's better than the guy you have starting right now. I just watched you play on Thursday night. Your quarterback couldn't hit a bull in the ass with a handful of peas. Like, this kid runs for 200, rushes for 200, throws for 200, rushes for 200. Like, so everybody needs to wake up on Angel Flores, okay? I want to bring Coach Barro in because he actually just changed his whole schedule around to come on with us. And I'll get more into the Coach Perone rant in a minute.
There we go.
I want to be in. I screwed this up last time because I wasn't in gallery view. I think I need to be in gallery. Speaker view? No. Gallery view. Boom. You came in at the right time because I was literally fighting with the computer screen. It was unbelievable because I was talking about the lack of respect Angel Flores has gotten from college coaches. And I was actually so I started out the show and I'm starting to preview the game. And first of all, everybody, by the way, thank you for joining us, head coach Casagrande and Jake Barro. Sorry, coach. That's how into it I was.
Yeah.
and I get, you know how attached I am to my players. You know how emotional I get. But, like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Like, and I always tell my guys, I'll stand on the mountaintop and I won't come off until – I'm going to tell you right now, if I have to get on a plane and fly to these schools and bring – like, I don't care, pandemic, whatever. This is one of the top 5 dual threat 2022 quarterbacks in the country. And no – he's not, for everybody listening goes, well, he's probably got no grades. He's probably going to be valedictorian.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's just, at the end of the day, this is what I tell guys, and they might think I'm crazy. At the end of the day, he's going to be fine. And the reason he's going to be fine is because I'm going to make sure of it. And then everybody that's sitting there asking, well, you don't have that ability to make, you watch. You watch. I'll use up every freaking favor I've had in the last 10 years and tell a coach, you're going to make this this has to happen. And then you could send me the thank you later because, God, I mean, we talked about him last week. I mean, why do you think this kid's under-recruited?
You know, I don't – I'm at a loss for it. I mean, I've had lesser kids – get Division I offers out of this school. So, you know, part of me wants to say, well, is it because we're Casagrande? And, you know, a lot of times we don't get the respect as a program other teams in the Valley get. But we've had lesser kids get it. I don't know. It's really tough. I mean, you know, we kind of got put behind the 8 ball with the pandemic. You know, this summer the plan was, you know, we were going to fly around with him and take him to camps and get him in front of coaches face to face.
Yeah, well, we had a great plan. But obviously that got you. And if you see him live, totally different ball game. They talk about passing the eye test. I mean, he's a specimen. He really is.
Yeah. I mean, he's a 1,000-pound kid in the weight room, you know, as a quarterback, and he's a dual threat kid. You know, I'm at a loss for it at this point. I know it would have helped be able to get him in front of guys face to face. I know the pandemic is hurting recruiting big time, but you know, this is a special kid, and I just, you know, I don't know. You know, I don't have a good answer for it.
I know we're gonna get there. Whatever I mean, there's so many things in recruit. Like I actually have a few coaches coming to the game tonight. A few college coaches coming to the game tonight. One of them is a very good friend of mine. And I was sitting there last night. We went to the Chili Bowl, which it was chilly. I will tell you that. The one thing you can bet your ass on, it was cold there. But, you know, I seen that Jacob Cisneros yesterday got Northern Arizona and Georgetown. And I think that might have been like his second and third offers. This is a kid that has 400 all-purpose yards a game. And like you said, you've seen lesser. Like, I mean, we know NAU has offered lesser. why do you, I know this system's broken. That's why I started my business, but it's definitely getting worse, and we're going to have to find the key to the door, because I spoke to a good friend of mine who sits on the board for the NCAA. And he said over the next 3 years, you're going to see 30,000 young men not have a place to play football. 30,000 young men are going to be out of college football. I mean, that's mind-boggling to me. And when I turn around and I talk to these recruits, and we'll have that conversation, because I have a school that is coming down that's very interested in one or two of your linebackers. But like when you're presented with an opportunity, you cannot just look at it and go, oh, well, that's awesome. Like, do you understand the magnitude? Like, I spoke to a parent last night, and I said, listen, and I don't want to get too far off the game, but last thing, he's going to have the opportunity to be a 4-year starter. It's a full scholarship, and they have his major, and they didn't flinch. Well, where is it? It's somewhere in the Midwest. Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Wow.
Okay. So, I mean, it is what it is. But it's the showdown, man. This is it. This is the one we talked about last week. An unbelievable Cactus team. An unbelievable Casa Grande team. How do you feel you guys did in practice this week?
We had a great week. No question about it. We were talking last night, coaches and with the whole team, just, we think this was our best week of practice all year. Just as far as the focus, being locked in. The kids understand how big the game is. I think everybody understands how big the game is.
Yeah.
And, from Saturday morning till now, we've been pretty locked in and focused. So it's been a really good week. I feel good about our level of preparation. Now it's just up to getting it done at 7:00.
Yeah, I just, how good that defense is. We all know they're well coached. You're a coach that I feel really spots. This is one of the things I want to tell you about your coaching that I've seen over the years. You are a guy who can sit down and watch a film and watch a team play 1 or 2 games and literally find the weakness in them. And even teams that, we don't think have weaknesses. This is one of the things that I get very passionate about. I get passionate about when kids are under-recruited and their lack of respect, but I also believe that your level of coaching is highly overlooked. As a true football coach, I really believe like you are one of the top guys in the state, if not the top guy in the state. I've had this conversation with another group, coaches that I respect, and Coach Carter and Carter. And I spoke with the Carters, and I sat in I've coached for 20 years at every level. I have sat down in a room with the Carters. I have talked X's and O's, and I've literally gone like this. Wow. I've learned so much from them. And then when I sit down with them and they tell me how great of a coach you are, we've got some amazing coaches, and I think you're going to see 2 of them tonight. And this game is bigger, I feel. I look at this game as, so in my opinion, 5A, 6A, open it. This is the best game, bar none, on the docket. And I think it's going to play out that way. I don't see anyone getting it way ahead in this one. I think you know that. You're very realistic. But if you could say something about Cactus and the breaking down of your film that you feel they do great, what would it be?
They're fast. The way they get to the football is really, really key. I mean, that's something that I'd say we played some good football teams. South Point really got to the ball well. The way Cactus, is able to recover and get to the football on defense is huge. I mean, that just makes all the difference. And they're disciplined up front on offense. You know, they're very disciplined in the offensive line. And that makes all the difference too. You know, when teams aren't hurting themselves, when they're not breaking down, you know, you got to play perfect football to contain them. And so, you know, our kids know that. You know, we got to play a really tough game. We got to play a perfect game to be able to contain these guys and keep them in check because they're disciplined and they're fast. They're able to recover when they do make mistakes.
Right. You know, and I'm not going to put you on the spot and say, well, what do you think the weakness is? Because then they're going to know your game plan. So we won't go into that. Obviously, we spoke about Flores. Give me a couple other guys, in your opinion. Obviously, you know, Cody's a huge Keaton fan. Tell us about some of the other guys on your team that really have impacted made an impact this season that you didn't expect.
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of kids that, you know, came up from JV last year that ended up making a big impact. We had Anthony Flores, one of our outside receivers, that's made an impact right away.
Any relationship?
No, not at all, actually. Yeah. And Demetrius Garrett, a slot receiver that made a huge impact, was a JV kid last year. And then we've had some sophomores that were freshmen last year, DeAndre Kelly, Andon Eager, Alex Ybarra. You know, this is a really young team we have. And so basically the biggest surprise for me was the impact those young kids had. I mean, they stepped in from day one and really did a great job for everybody, you know, for us especially.
Jacob Thomas, I feel like, has really been a big key factor on defense this year. He's a young man that I know he kind of surpassed what I expected from him. He's one of those kids that, like, if there's a coach out there that just needs to bring just a little bit of attitude to his defense, I feel like that's who he is. I mean, he's that street baller kid, you know. He's the kid that fights with his cousin, gets into a fist fight at Thanksgiving with his cousin playing flag football.
Yeah.
You know, and I just think he's had a great year. He's undersized. I think he's quick enough. Another beast. Your weight room numbers are insane. I mean, another 1,000-pound club plus kid, way plus. He was second team all region last year, and he gets it done in the classroom. Another guy, 3.7 GPA. I mean, Coach, you're doing something really right over there. I know last year's class. Let me rephrase that. Last year's class was really, really difficult to get through to on a personal level and really kind of make them see beyond high school. They got very trapped in high school. A lot of those guys had mega talent, like ready to move on. I mean, I had college coaches chomping at the bit for them, but these guys never took it seriously. You feel like the guys you have now that want to play college football are taking it serious and really taking step by step?
Yeah, and no question. And the biggest thing is you see it in their grades, right? They take care of that first and foremost. And then you see it in their off-season work ethic. You know, the weight room numbers are just that's the proof of it. The way they work all year round, what they do in the classroom, and then their communication. You know, I got kids talking to me every time, you know, hey, I got an email from this coach. I got this from this coach. And then, you know, when should I set up a call with Coach Perone, and when should I do that? And, you know, it's a whole lot better. And we're finally getting through to them to where they understand just how important that is.
And I know we don't want to we want them to let them focus on this game. But once after this game, and then depending on the outcome after the next, we'll let you guys do your thing, and we'll get on the same page for sure with the underclassmen too. I want to make sure the underclassmen are right. But the last question I have for you, it might be a little bit weird, but I woke up this morning with this question in mind. You see, Hines leaves Desert Vista, Gertz leaves Westview, and then Hathcock shocks the world and leaves Desert Ridge. Do you foresee maybe any changes coming up here in the future to step into and coach maybe a bigger program?
No, not in the near future. I mean, I'm pretty dedicated to this group I have here. I've got such a young team and some kids, and they know that I want to see their careers through at least. I'm always open with talking to people. I feel like you kind of have to be, and I always been an East Valley guy, and always that's kind of alluring. I just gotta be honest with you. But with this group that I have right now and these kids, I mean, especially with the year we've had with the pandemic, I feel like I got to be the guy to see them through this. So, whatever, there's definitely some great jobs open right now, and somebody's great's going to get those. But it's not going to be me.
Any aspirations, Coach, on moving and playing to the next level?
No.
And coaching at the next level.
Yeah, not me personally. I like the high school kids. I like what you do with that, where you build it. And
I mean, you make an impact, Coach. That's the one thing. You have so many coaches say, these kids are they're like sons to me. They're like my kids. They're like my kids. But I'll tell you what, and I can honestly say this. I mean this. I've never seen players look at their coach as a fatherly type figure, as a true mentor, than the way your kids look at you. I mean, it's I literally get emotional now because it's unbelievable how much your kids love you. And that's a testament to you.
I appreciate you saying that, because that's what it's all about. I mean, to me, that's the whole end game.
So I want to wish you the best of luck tonight. We're going to bring on Coach Ortiz. I'll give my predictions, obviously, when I get off. But you're a great man, the utmost character. I love all you guys. Thanks for coming on, and I'll see you on the field tonight.
Appreciate it, Coach. See you tonight.
All right. Guys, there it is, man. Coach Jake Barro, Casa Grande Cougars. He is the real deal. I just want to pull up here. Yeah, they're all calling in. Let's make sure we can get Coach Larson on. Let's take a break. I mean, Coach Ortiz on. Let's take a break here, and we'll get Coach Ortiz on from Cactus here. Coach Barone, I'll be right back. Team Impact, proud sponsor of the My Recruits podcast. In the Valley since 2013, Team Impact runs personal training, camps, clinics, and nationally recognized competitive flag and 7-on-7 teams. To join the team, Coach Dave Bacci and his staff ask for hard work, high character, and a commitment to being the best. Programs for athletes as young as 5 years old. To learn more about Team Impact, visit teamimpactcoaching.com. That's teamimpactcoaching.com. Team Impact, where champions start. Education Solutions, helping both students and student athletes raise their GPA and test scores through the NCAA approved and accredited virtual school. Raising GPAs at a success rate of over 90% and test scores at a rate of 87%. Waste no more time. Increase your GPA and test scores by contacting Education Solutions today at 205-960-6444 or visit them online at youredsolutions.com. That's youredsolutions.com. Mention the My Recruit Show and receive a $100 discount. We're back. All right. An amazing talk with one of the best coaches in Arizona, Jake Barro. Those guys are ready for this one, man. I'm telling you what. I spoke with Angel Flores. He was like, and he is one of the cheeriest, kind of nicest kids. I'm not going to get into, but he was like, practice has been great this week. We are laser focused, and we're getting ready to take care of business. speaking of taking care of business, forget about the mindset of this Cactus team. I'm going to bring on Coach Joe Ortiz, head coach of Cactus. This has been one of my favorite programs. These are I literally have two of my favorite programs in the state playing tonight, so I can't wait. I mean, I'm going to be there bright and early. Coach Ortiz has this team laser focused. I mean, these guys are firing on all cylinders. It's like they're not even thinking like, oh, this is Casa Grande. It's just a team in their way. That's how they talk about it. You know, I spoke to one of their players. We'll get into it after the Ortiz interview, but unbelievable. I mean, let's bring him on. He's been sitting in the waiting room here. I want to hear his thoughts on this one. Coach, good morning.
Good morning.
Happy game day.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Well, we spoke last week with Cody on our show, and you know the reason I didn't include any 4A stuff, and we did the 5A, 6A open show privately. I knew I was going to do a little game day spotlight here. First off, congratulations, obviously, to get to this point. The one thing that impresses me more than anything, I've had a chance to talk to a bunch of players. I mean, you know, you guys have this saying and this hashtag of unfinished business, right? And it's really not just a saying. Like the mentality that your kids are walking around with, it's unbelievable. Like I just said, they're not playing your team is not playing Casa Grande tonight. They're not. Like they are just playing a team that is in their way, and that's how they literally all are almost robotic when you talk to them. They're so focused. Who's on their team? What's the quarterback's name? I don't know. They're just a team in our way. And that's literally, I guess, you've done a great job really making them buy into this, because they're bought in, man. They're focused on unfinished business, period.
Yeah, and what ties into that too is we always have this saying every week: Cactus versus Cactus. Doesn't matter who we're playing, as long as Cactus doesn't beat Cactus, we're going to be in really good shape. So that's just been our mantra all week: unfinished business. You know, last year when we won in the quarterfinals, it was a big celebration. People stormed the field. It was like, oh my God, we got to the semis for the first time in 9 years and whatever that was. But this year, you know, after we beat Coco, it was more of a, all right, what's next? Let's go. You know, it was a workman-like attitude, and this was the best week of practice we had all year. So I was super excited about that. They were dialed in, locked in on game plan on both sides of the ball. You know, they understand what Casa Grande is doing. I know Barro says this is the state championship game, but this is just the semifinals. You know, I think there's a lot of other great teams on the other side of the bracket. So any 4 of these teams can win it. I'm excited for the opportunity to go play for a state championship and get to that state game, which hasn't been done here since 2011. Just super excited for these kids and this Cactus community. And, you know, when I took over 3 years ago, I asked for 5 years, and we kind of speed timed it to 3. And just proud of these kids and the administration for taking a chance on a first-year head coach. And just hopefully I can make them proud and we can get it done tonight, and whatever happens next week can happen next week.
Talk a little about, and I asked Coach Barro this question. Obviously, you see you see Hines leave. Yesterday, 2 days ago, Gertz left Westview, and then Hathcock shocked the world and left Desert Ridge after 15 years. You see yourself taking a bigger job here at a 6A program anywhere in the near future if that opportunity was given?
I'm a Cobra. I think Cactus is a big time job. You know, Cactus is a dynasty. You know, a traditional power. And we're starting to come back up at what we're building here with our great sophomore class, great junior class coming back next year. And, you know, I think more kids are starting to filter to Cactus because they know what we do here.
Absolutely, Coach. And that you really have – I'm going to tell you what. So I haven't been in the Valley as long as some of these guys, but, you know, I knew, you know, I knew that Cactus was there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know respect to the gentleman that was the head coach, Larry. You know, Carter spoke the world of him to me. But as a parent, I could tell you this right now. I sit on the outside looking in. I have a young man that's a sophomore, an offensive lineman that's 6'4", 300 pounds. And I turn around and I look and I say, what kind of program, what kind of head coach that's close by, not even that's close, that I like. And the program is attractive. And I'll tell you the number one thing that attracts me as a parent to bring in my kids there, they're football players. And if they're not football players, they're going to learn how to become football players. You know, they're not going to play grab ass on the sidelines. They're not going to, you know, step out of line and get into trouble. You do an amazing job. I mean, it's what I've seen, and you and I don't have a history. You know, Coach Barro and I go back a few years. You know, you welcomed me in, and I'm very grateful for that, because I really got to see how that business type coaching attitude works at this level. And I think you have one of the best attitudes in approaching a program out there, where you're super hard on your kids, but in a way where they absolutely idolize you, and they will run through everybody. They talk about, oh man, you know, your kids will run through a wall for you. Your parents run through walls for you. I mean, you've got that entire program bought in, and it's showing on the field. I mean, you're 2 games away from making it happen. And my hat goes off to you. Like I says, I know there's going to be some great opportunities that come your way, but Cactus is super lucky to have you. And as a parent, you do make parents sit there and go, oh man, I'd love him to be at Cactus. I mean, I've said it. You know, I'm very happy with where my son is. Great coaches, friends of mine. At the end of the day, it's attractive, and you've done a great job with it. Go ahead.
I appreciate it. You know, it's been a process. You know, I think I learned from one of the best head coaches out there, Eddie Zuby, who's my mentor for 10 years. He's my best friend. I love the guy. And, you know, being able to be his right-hand man for 10 years, it was made me ready for when I put in for a head coaching job. And I knew what you had to do to be an attractive destination. You know, you gotta highlight the kids, make the kids feel special, give them preferential treatment. They get, you know, we try and give them all Under Armour stuff, and the kids love that stuff. And, you know, I'm hard on Twitter, you know, and on Instagram and on Facebook. Yeah. I'm the one running all that stuff. So, you know, that's what the kids like now. And, you know, I'm a young guy still. I'm only 34 years old, so I can still relate to these kids a little bit. And, you know, I just love these kids, and it's an honor that people put me in that category as a good coach. And, you know, it's always been my dream, being an Arizona native, to have that, to be in that discussion. You know, I idolized Pat Farrell growing up, you know, from St. Mary's, who was, you know, that was the idol, you know, about being a St. Mary's guy. So, you know, that's what I want to be that one day, you know, and that's what I strive to be. And, you know, I'm hoping that we can take this next step as a program, not just me as a coach tonight, and get to that championship game. And, you know, if we don't, then we don't. You know, it's a great group of kids. We had a great ride, but I feel really good about what our chances tonight. You know, our kids are ready, and, you know, I'm happy at Cactus. You know, it would take a lot to get me to go here, because I think in a year or two, or maybe hopefully 3 or 4, we're in that open discussion every year, and we're in that 5A and 6A that we are the big school, regardless of our enrollment here. You know, our goal is to be like a Saguaro, and you know, like a Hamilton and like a Chandler. That's what I envision here. I'm not going to a school to just be mediocre. You know, and that's why I came to the West Valley. I'm a West Valley guy. I grew up 10 minutes down the road from here, so I know the school really well. And to come back to my home area where I grew up my whole life is huge. And, you know, I want to turn this into a destination. I want to be in that discussions with the Saguaros, Chandlers, and Hamiltons.
Well, I'll tell you right now, it's definitely, you're definitely on the appetizer menu right now because people are starting to they're looking at it, and I think you will get this program to be a main course here before we know. I want to talk a little bit of player wise on some young men that have really, and I know we've touched on it on a previous show. Everybody knows about Ethan Price. And Ethan Price, the way I described him when I recruit for him, Ethan Price he's not an attractive kid to the eye. When you look at him, I had this talk with a college coach last night who's going to be coming to the game. You know, he's not that defensive tackle that you look at and you go, whoa, you know, this guy's, I mean, he's short in stature, you know, he's 6'1" on a fantastic day. 285 pounds. He's got that chubby cheek, just nice kid face. I mean, I think he's top 4 or 5 in his class. I don't think he's ever gotten anything less than an A. He's a nice kid. He's a good, but when this kid steps on the field, man, he is as nasty as anyone I have ever seen in the trenches of defensive line. I mean, he is just a dude.
I think what helps him out is he's so technically sound, and he knows the game plan through and through, and what he takes up. He can take up 2 gaps at one point. You know, he's just so disciplined in that. You know, he knows he gets a double team to fall to the ground. He knows.
Yeah.
You know, he just does his job. He doesn't try and do too much. His stats aren't like over glaring, but he does his job every week. His best game was actually last week against Coco. He played lights out and unreal with that.
And made like only 3 tackles or 2 tackles.
Right, but he had a couple tackles for loss. And in that gimmick offense that Coco's runs, it's deceiving. But Ethan played his heart out, and I expect the same from him tonight. You know, Casagrande's got some big dudes up front, but I think we're a little bit more athletic, and Ethan may not look athletic, but he's very quick with his hands. He's very quick with his feet. You know, he's going to get in his gap and make sure that his A gap or B gap is stuffed, and just make it a long night for Casagrande, hopefully.
Yeah. So, I mean, the whole defensive fronts, right? So then you guys have this thing over there for shorter, nasty defensive tackles. You know, we go into Vincent Barro, another guy who, like I said, they're just, you look at them and then you go, oh, you know, they're, you know, obviously not what I'm looking for size-wise, but everybody puts so much emphasis on. But, man, when you watch these kids and the heart they have, and like you said, how technically sound they are, I mean, it's just, I know I sound like a broken record, but, man, it is so hard to run, to just flat out line up with you guys and run at you. And he's another one.
Yeah, Burgos, he just don't care. You know, his motor's so high, and he's relentless. And, you know, since we moved him out to end, he's just been a monster, and he's super physical. He's super smart. You know, he's good with his hands. You know, you know, we're blessed to have that defensive line because they're all dudes. You know, they're all dudes for sure.
The last guy I want to talk about has really impressed me, and talking with bigger time colleges, he's impressed them is Mason Cullip. He is a guy who I didn't know about, you know, until his dad called me and we got him signed up, and you know, then all of a sudden he started to play and it was like, oh wow. And then you watch a game or two of film and you're like, whoa. I mean, I was watching his film. I was watching his highlights, and my wife is like, what's going on over there? Because I was like, oh man, ooh, you know, I'm an ooh or an when I'm watching film. I'm really into it. And I mean, this guy, I mean, there's no other way to describe it. And he has the size. He's about 6'3.5", super huge wingspan, monstrous hands. I mean, you've got a guy right there. I know they use the term. He's a dude.
No doubt. He's a Division I dude, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be shocked if he doesn't start getting Division I offers after this season.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I see him being, and it's he's very humble. Mm-hmm. He's very, you know, he's But I talked to him, and I'll give you the quote. And this just goes to the mindset of these guys. I had a great chance to catch up with him, and him and I go back and forth a lot and text and talk. And what did he say to me? He says, "Coach, to be honest, we've been doing this thing for 6 months, and I don't think any of us plan on stopping until we get a ring. There's no hype in this game for us because it's a semifinal or because it's Casa Grande. We've been here before, and this team is just in our way." When you can get that kind of mentality via text from a kid, it's going to be a good one tonight, brother. I'm going to tell you right now. And I think Barro's got his seatbelt, but they're buckled up. And I'm super excited to be there. I can't wait. And I want to see some of these guys really play live. I haven't had a chance. I've been to practice, but I haven't had a chance to see you guys live in a game this year. So this is one that I'm super excited for. I think it's going to be a great matchup. And I just want to see. I want to see some of these offensive guys. I want to see Chris Thomas Jr. He's a guy that's made an impact. I'd love to see how Jasinski plays. I know he's been going through some growing pains, but he has moments of just greatness. You guys get it done, and I'm excited. I'm happy for you. I know you're not looking past this one, but any last comments or wannabe ballsy predictions on tonight's game?
I don't know about prediction. I just want Cactus to win. I don't care what happens. We had heartbreak last year, and we remember that last year. We remember that feeling, and we're going to play our hearts out tonight. I'm going to coach my butt off tonight on both sides of the ball with Coach Bellis coaching the defense, and we're going to put our kids in the best situation to win tonight. And whatever happens, happens. At the end of the day, we get to play the game of football one more time tonight, and hopefully we get to play another one next week. But just got to say it's unfinished business and go Cobras, and we'll see if we can pull it out tonight.
Coach, we will see you on the field. We'll be there early, about 6 o'clock, doing the pregame. Thank you so much for coming on, and good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, guys, I know you've heard me say this before. I know they don't want to say it, but it all comes down to this one tonight. At the end of the day, this is the game. Two of the best teams in 4A. These are two teams that were in open discussion at an earlier, can they do it? Can these guys be, I don't know. It's going to be a good one, man. It's going to be a real good one. How do I see this one going? The $1 million question. I'm going to tell you this. Flores is tough to stop. Coaching on both sides of the ball, lights out. Tie. We'll call it a tie. Quarterback edge obviously gets picked up. Casa Grande has the quarterback edge. Casa Grande would have the quarterback edge. I don't see anybody in the state. Running back edge, goes to Casa Grande. Not taking anything away from the specialist on the Cactus side of the ball, but you flip over to defensively, and it's not even a question. Cactus has the edge defensively on this one. Every level, every state, every position, Cactus is going to have the defensive edge, and I think you're going to see one for the ages tonight. I don't see anyone getting away with this one, like I said. So I'm ready. I know you're going to be ready. You want to tune into this one tonight. I am going to be shooting some various segments live. I don't think we're going to stream the whole game, but I'm going to do some pregame interviews, some postgame interviews. I'll have some shots for you. We'll keep you updated. I do have college coaches that are coming to this one, so I need to be attentive to them and watching some players. Got some guys coming to see Ethan Price tonight. we're excited. One or two big guys are in town. I have an assistant AD in town from a Power 5 school who coming by to say hi and maybe catch a look at that Casa Grande quarterback. So who knows? But hey, thanks for joining. Subscribe My Recruits YouTube channel. Okay. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Okay. At My Recruits. Come, you won't be sorry. You're going to see content everywhere. I've hired a social media guy who's going to knock things out of the park for us. Okay. He's a guy that's got over 1 million followers, and he knows what he's doing. He's a relative of mine. Let's make it happen, man. My Recruits, taking it to the next level. Coach Perone, I'm out. See you tonight in Casa Grande.